That's cool, but just remember, it says, so keep your bankroll lottery, eat your salad day deathbed motorcade.
That's what I said.
I know you did, but I couldn't understand you.
Well, then how'd you know that's what I said?
Oh, I talked to Julian the other day. He's going to introduce me to that Mr. Shimano guy.
Oh. Who?
The guy that wants to buy the building.
Oh, excellent. Hey, maybe I should come. Like, intimidate a little bit. Just a little bit, but nice.
Julian actually already said you can't come.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, he was pretty adamant that you not be there. I don't know why.
He's not very nice.
Don't worry though, I can handle this. I just gotta find a way to subtly sabotage the sale of the building if he doesn't seem open to letting me keep living up here.
Really? Steve, you can't even get Columbia City Theater to call us back, so...
Hey, if I can do it this way, then we won't even need to book that gig at Columbia City.
Oh, before I forget, Lorenzo's girlfriend asked if we could play at her party.
What's the story?
Well, I don't know the story, per se, but I know they're putting on a 90s party, and they need a band to,
What do you think?
Yeah, I'd be down, I guess. Catch is, she wants to add a couple songs to the usual set list, so that might throw off the flow.
They always do.
Dynamics is what I call it.
What are they?
The first one is Two Princes by Spin Doctors.
All right, fine. What was the other one, though?
Scar Tissue.
Nope, not happening.
Yeah, I told her you'd probably say that. She said it's not a deal breaker, but she really wants the Two Princes one.
I can handle Spin Doctors. The first Playboy I ever saw was in Martinez's older brother's room, and he had a pocket full of Kryptonite poster hanging on the wall.
Should we do the show or not?
What's it pay?
Well, she asked if we could get paid from Villamo, and I was like, what is that? And she said, actually, I was hoping that we could just settle it with food and drinks. Like beer. A lot of beer, probably. Maybe some beer.
We might as well. We're not doing anything else that night.
I didn't even tell you what night it is.
Well, is it on a Thursday night or a Friday morning?
Nope.
Then we don't have any other plans. We're not skipping Brody's to do some other gig.
I know!
Especially not to do some other 90s party. Brody's is the original 90s night.
It's not a Thursday! Who throws a party on a Thursday, Steve? Nobody! Well, except for raging alcoholics.
Okay, so in addition to Two Princes, we'll just do all our usual staples. Breed and Lithium, Alive, Man in the Box, Black Hole Sun, Glycerine, Vaseline, Tangerine, Velveteen, and Wax Ecstatic.
Standard 90s set list.
I never thought I'd say this, but I think I'm actually getting tired of all these 90s themed parties.
Yeah, but they're way better than those 80s themed parties.
Man, I am so glad that that's all over with.
No kidding. Why do people like dressing up like that again?
I got no idea.
Doesn't look cool now. Didn't look cool back then. Still doesn't look cool now. Will never look cool.
For like 15, 20 years there, pretty much every Halloween party you went to, there was a good chunk of people wearing just regular 80s clothes. Like, how is that even a costume? Talk about uninspired.
I remember that one Halloween party in Bellevue where we went full 80s get up. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. And I tried really hard to forget about it. And you should too.
Yeah, I've tried to block it out. It's not easy. I've done exercises, different mental exercises, but I'm stuck with the image of us.
Well, maybe it's not actually quite as bad as you remember it.
How could it not be? What were we thinking?
Shut up, all right?
Touchy.
Well, what do you expect? Maybe I don't like being reminded that we sold out everything we ever stood for. Would you?
We didn't sell out. We didn't get any money.
We sold out on our image. We looked like complete tools.
Relax, man. It was one party, and it was a part of our costume. So you can't identify too much with the character that you're playing. Besides, that's what they asked us to do. And they loved us. We could have got laid if we wanted to.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to.
I actually had to get a stick just to keep those two girls off you. I always thought that was just an expression.
Exactly. So just forget all about it again, and we can go do this 90s party, what we're used to, what we like, it's in our wheelhouse, and then we'll just knock it out of the park.
If it were really a 90s themed party, they wouldn't be hiring a band like us. They'd be hiring some boy band cover band to play a whole bunch of New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys songs.
You watch your mouth. You think that's all the 90s had to offer? Come on.
It's true though. That's what things were really like. Everyone just chooses to remember the cool parts of the 90s, so they think it was all grunge and alternative rock. But the reality is, that was only like 1 or 2 years where everyone thought it was cool. By the middle of the decade, the masses were so excited to get back to their pop music that the end result was an oversaturation of boy bands and Spice Girls.
And who, evidently, weren't really that spicy at all.
No.
Made more like mild, like a green salsa verde.
And then as time goes on, people choose to just remember the cool parts. So all they remember is the explosion of grunge and how the Great One saved rock and roll after hair metal was about to kill it. And they forget about all the Ricky Martins and the Hansons and the Aquas.
Yeah, selective memory, yeah. You know, I utilize that tool to forget all of the gigs that we do that suck.
I think everybody uses selective memory.
And there's a lot of them.
Except me. I'm doomed to remember all the crap.
Or none of them.
I just hated Backstreet Boys so much.
Well, you know, the 90s weren't that bad.
They were horrible.
Alternative rock was the main kind of rock to emerge in the 90s. And that was like cooler than anything that had come before it since the 60s, which is when real rock was invented.
Yeah, but nobody cared about alternative after 1995. Me and you did, and maybe Rico and Shane, but that's it. Rap took over hard. But the overlords didn't want to give rap any respect, so they just let the poppiest crap that ever crapped run wild all over the charts for the rest of the decade.
What about Foo Fighters?
What? Nobody liked Foo Fighters back then. Yeah, everybody loves Everlong now, but nobody wants to admit that they didn't think it was anything special when it came out.
Sure it was. I remember you trying to play that on your first drum kit with the broken kick pedal.
Once again, me and you loved Everlong from day one because it's awesome,
It's kind of hard to play with no kick pedal.
but we're also smarter than everyone else.
Yeah, they're all dumb.
Don't you remember how mad I was coming to school every morning because Everlong kept moving lower on the countdown?
Oh, yeah. You were so mad. You were madder than the Mad Hatter.
Wow, it was proportionate.
It was ruining your day. And nothing could cheer you up after that. Like nothing at all.
So I like Dave Grohl, right? The point is, Foo Fighters didn't start getting any appreciation until a good 10 years into their existence. And that's because the 90s wouldn't have recognized a good band if they cut their hair all over the place.
Yeah, you know, like as soon as Metallica cut their hair, that was it. It was like everybody follows suit. It was like, oh, it doesn't matter anymore for rock and roll. Like, how can you be a rocker and not have long hair? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm letting it go. It's not a big deal.
Megadeth. Dave Mustaine never cut his hair. But David Ellefson, the bass player, did.
Dave Jr. cut his hair? I don't remember that.
I'd bet my peace sells but who's frying pan that that's the reason Dave Mustaine kicked him out all these years later.
Oh, definitely. He holds a grudge.
Like Floyd holds a mic.
What happened in 95?
What?
You said nobody but us cares about alternative after 1995. What made the change?
How should I know? We got smarter and everyone else got dumber. The rest of the world started its descent into the third layer of moronocracy.
Steve, I just asked you about a specific year. Aren't you going to tell me about what awesome albums came out that year?
Well, you know that one of the greatest albums of all time came out that year because I remind you every couple of days that Foo Fighters' debut album
Still the best one.
came out in 95. See? You do remember.
Yeah, because you just reminded me that you remind me almost every single day. But I don't remember what else came out.
You don't remember that the last Alice in Chains album to have Lane Staley on it came out that year?
The one with the three-legged dog on the cover?
His name was Tripod, and yes, that one.
I thought Lane Staley did that side project with Mad Season that year.
Yes, Mad Season's one and only album, Above. It's awesome. See, I knew you were faking. You remember just as much from that year as I do.
I don't think so.
Mudhoney's album, My Brother the Cow, came out that year. And then also Tad's last album, which obviously was as awesome as all their previous albums. But we got both of those. So, yeah, I guess you know what's up just as well as I do.
Yeah, poor Tad. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
That's a stupid way to put it.
Is it? Or is it the most accurate thing I've ever said?
Actually, that is a pretty good analogy. Not a bad showing from our local music scene that year. Except for Candlebox. Their album Lucy was not that good.
Well then, why don't you stop bringing them up?
And because it was the mid-90s, all the old school metal bands that put out albums that year, they pretty much sucked. Like Iron Maiden had an album with the new singer. It was total weak sauce. Even Anthrax's album, Stomp 442, which I've tried real hard to like, and I'm ashamed to say it, but it's got some real stinkers on there. And nobody is a bigger fan of the John Bush era of Anthrax than me.
Yeah, you might be the only fan.
I didn't mind Ozzy's album that year, but nobody else seemed to like it.
Yeah, Ozzy's still alive, and we didn't even think he was going to live past that year. He did.
Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio and Bombastic by Shaggy were the two biggest hits that year. Rest in peace, Coolio.
Yeah, you know, at the time I remember thinking that they were pretty bad, those songs. But in hindsight, they're actually not that bad. They're pretty good compared to the music that is coming out today, you know?
Definitely.
I don't understand it. Why is music getting worse and worse and worse? What's going on, Steve?
I already told you. People think rock is dead. That's why there's barely anybody making new rock.
We're gonna bring real music back.
Damn right.
Oh yes. Oh yes, we will.
You know what other song came out in 95 that also wasn't rock, but I thought it was badass anyway, was Da Funk by Daft Punk.
Yeah.
But people didn't know about it till 1997 because that's when they released the music video that had the dog in it.
I thought the dog was the band at first. Like a dog band.
Me too. I couldn't figure out what was going on. But I love that beat though.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's essentially the simplest beat you can come up with, but it's so cool. Like this. the reason why that music video was so impactful was because it had a sad ending for the dog. You genuinely felt bad for him.
I love dogs.